That's right. Happy Friday, everybody. It's a chilly one out there. It's a chilly one out there. Have you seen the videos on Twitter this morning from campus? It looks cold, folks. It's going to be cold. There's a lot of snow. I know my guy Chip on the ND grounds crew. He's been shoveling snow. He's been plowing. I'm proud of him though. Chip, my stadium contact, he made the video for the team yesterday. The social media, they put a video of him out there plowing the field, and they made a video out of it. I'm proud of you, Chip. I know you'll watch this later. I'm proud of you. You made it big time, baby. I wish they would have zoomed in on you. So good for him, but it's chilly. Listen, guys, welcome in, everybody. I'm just telling you. Weird. I want to get this stupid game over with. That's where I'm at right now. I want to get this stupid game over with. All right? Like, just straight up. I want it to be over. I'm done with it. I don't like Boston College, the whole thing. I know it's emotional. It's senior day. It's going to be cold. All of that. I just don't love it. Get it over with. Let's go. Let's play this game, run the ball on them, beat them, and move on to LA. All right, move on to LA. So that's the plan. It's just been a weird week, folks. Weird week with my schedule. I am going to have to end a little, not even a little, but early today, earlier than I wanted. I'm not happy about it. Life is life. I got to do what I got to do. We'll be here in the morning tomorrow. So I definitely want to get your phone calls in early before I do have to run. So any thoughts on BC? Your thoughts about this game? Your thoughts about our relationship with them overall? The weather. If it's really going to be between 18 and 30 degrees tomorrow and cold, how does that affect the gameplay? Both of these teams are used to cold weather. There's no doubt about that. You know what I always wish? Why? I wish it was set up where if we have to go to LA, we have to go to LA the last week of the year. But when it's a home game, make them LA boys come to us when it's 18 degrees. Why do we go out there Thanksgiving weekend? It's warm out there all the time. Make them come to us in late November when it's 18 degrees. Not one of the only teams that plays in crappier weather than Indiana, which is Boston. I'm just saying. This is just the stuff that gets in my head. Forget that. Make them Hollywood boys come out here when it's 18 degrees. See how they like that? Freezing their ass off. Get that going. Get them LA boys coming here in late November, not mid-October when it's 60. I digress, kind of. Nick Shepkowski, good morning. Oh, he's got the Gaelic going there, the little accent. Top of the morning, lads. I'm just picturing him saying it in like an Irish accent. Good morning to you. So that's where I'm at. And the whole BC thing bothers me. Here's the thing, you guys. What is Boston College known for? Like in football, their highlights to fame include ruining Notre Dame seasons and a midget heaving a ball up and a guy getting underneath it, and it just happened to land on him. That's what they're known for. Like, get a grip. Yeah, exactly, Pat. That's it. Like, it's hard for me to really respect a team that much when it's like, well, what's the highlight of your program? Winning all these championships, all these. No, it's beating Notre Dame and ruining their happiness. Congratulations. I'm happy for you that you were able to do that, I guess. 737-937, going to be the first two up. So let's get through the introduction, roll call, phone call. We could shoot all over. I want to know what you think about this ball game. Is it still a 20-point favorite? Notre Dame at a 20-point clip in this weather. Do you see them? Is anybody picking Notre Dame to cover? That's risky given the spreads that we have not covered in good weather against bad teams. 3-7, 20-point favorite. They're last in their division, folks. This is not a good Boston College team. 3-7, last in their division. They're averaging 19 points a game, and they're allowing close to 30. They run it for no yards, And they've given up 4.5 yards per carry the last 2 games they've played. The path is clear, folks. The path is clear. If ever there were another game to run the ball and power it, tomorrow is it. Tomorrow is it. They can't run the ball. You should be able to run the ball, even though maybe I'm an idiot for assuming that after what we saw the second half last week. Right? I want to make fun of them for running the ball for -1 yards in their last game. We had 2 yards offense the whole second half against the military academy. So maybe who am I to get all high and mighty about what's possible here? I'm just telling you, it gets in your mind. You start twisting this stuff around in your brain. Anyways, YouTube, you're obviously here. Hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. That way you'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Call in line 312-900-8815. Fighting Irish Wire. Check it out. Nick Shepkowski, myself. I had an article go up, I think yesterday or the day before, about this quarterback dynamic, breaking down all the moving parts of that, the ones that are here, the ones that might be here, the ones that might be leaving. There's got to be action in this quarterback room, a lot of action. Competition, development. Some guys are going to come, some guys are going to go. That's just how the game's played now, and we got to figure it out. All right, let's get to the roll call and then the phone call, okay? Paul Conley, he was here early, 2 hours early here before I set up today. Man, an early riser, Paul. Good, always good to see you here. Deb Thomas, the format. Bruce, yeah, I was going to ask, what's the temperature in Florida there? 45 degrees in Northeast Florida. Bruce, are you cold? 45 degrees. Jaded Clay, good to see you here as well. We got a big Florida contingent. We got Bruce in Florida, Deb Thomas in Florida, Jaded in Florida. Man, 45 degrees. If you had a fireplace, it'd be going. It ain't that cold yet, is it? I guess in Florida it might be. Matthew Logsdon says it's too early in the season to be this cold. I'm assuming you mean season like of the year, because it can't be the football season. It's the last home game. So if it was ever going to be cold, this would be the one, I guess. Oh, 18 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be chilly. I don't know what that crowd's going to be like. 18's kind of cold. Or maybe it goes the other way where people drink to stay warm. You know, get out there in the morning and you're freezing and you pound a few and you suddenly feel a lot better about yourself at about 11 a.m. Maybe we'll have some of that going on tomorrow. Angela Rudiger, so I say it every time. It always makes me feel good to have a Rudiger here, close family friend. The Rudigers here. I have to go be a mom again, help the class. Just thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you thinking of me, even though you're busy, Rudy. Drunk. It's always good to see a drunk first thing in the morning, as long as they're not driving. Right? Deb Thomas. Cold in Cedar Key, Florida, had homemade chicken noodle soup for breakfast just to warm up. Man, Florida people, you're not used to this. I'm jealous. 31-24 Irish. Deborah Thomas, that's a very reasonable take. Very reasonable. What did I put? I can't even remember my score prediction from yesterday that I wrote up. I think it was 31-17, 34-17, 34-17-ish is where I had it. Mikey pulls a lot of weight up and down, and I think I might hire him to be Always Irish bodyguard. And I'll just walk around and cause trouble at away games. And I'll have Mikey Poles there as my security. It'll be perfect. Like, I'll just have him come around with all his muscles and his championship belts from Australia and all that. And then he'll be my bodyguard. So, Mikey, if you're interested, let me know. I'll hire you. Always Irish security detail. I'm a small guy. I'm not going to fight anybody. Who am I kidding? Mikey Poles, Minchie on campus. Irish better not fumble the bag. Hey, Mikey, I have a dead serious question. 737-937. We're coming to you in a minute. I got a real question here. I'm not even joking. Are we sure that Minchie's on campus already and that this snow didn't mess up this trip? It's a real question I woke up and thought of this morning because I am the way I am in my brain. I literally woke up and thought, I hope whoever needs to get there can get there. And I hope it's still a great environment. It's always a little tedious when Notre Dame has recruits come in and it's minus 80 degrees in a blizzard or whatever weird weather, but there's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing you could do about it. I guess the good news is if this guy was going to Pitt, he's kind of used to cold northern weather anyways. But I always think about that. Florida is freezing over, bro. Pat, happy Friday. Good to see you, Pat. Texas, Mac. Great day to be an Irish fan. It always is, isn't it? It always is. Florida is freezing over. Man, howdy, Lizard Circus. I don't know if you're new here or not. I don't know if I've seen that chat before. It's kind of a unique one. Good to have you here. I appreciate it. Jaded, I love snow games. You know what the snow game I loved was? The snowball with Penn State. What was that, 92? With the 2-point conversion play in the snow in that end zone opposite the tunnel. The 2-point little curl route around wide open to Jerome Bettis. And then the 2-pointer, I can still remember Tony Roberts calling it. I could still remember it. Back to throw. Meyer looks, rolls, throw to the right. Pass the ball. It is caught. Reggie Brooks. Reggie Brooks done it for a 2-pointer. And Notre Dame is out in front 17-16 with 20 seconds left. I can remember it all, folks. That's my snowball. Lou Holtz, Reggie Brooks, Meyer, Jerome in the house. Oh, Matthew. Are we really getting a real quarterback? I hope we're getting multiple real quarterbacks. Not one, multiple. I want Minchie in this one with a body that you can work with that has some higher level potential, and then CJ Carr. I want multiple. I'm sick of Notre Dame being out of the mix. I'm sick of us thinking that this is harder than it has to be. Get you a couple guys to really compete and raise the level in that room and go from there. Notre Dame has got to get this part stabilized and ASAP. Here we go. We got a couple predictions. Sharky 61, ND 42, BC 0. Now you're talking my language. You're talking about doubling up that point score. Double cover. Get double the money out of it. Double cover. V1, I'm working on it. Oh, Matt Radke, good to see you. Hope everything's well with the family in Nashville. At least Phil isn't playing because he would have looked like a Heisman candidate. Listen, it was going to be one of the big appeals of this game leading up to it is the whole Phil versus Notre Dame saga. If he was healthy, there's no doubt Phil has the best arm by far of any of the quarterbacks that would be in our room. But it's hard to gauge his developmental track with some of the problems Boston College has had. Offensive line has been terrible, and that's going to make any quarterback look worse, and it's harder to develop. Willie Hardigan, as is tradition, can't enjoy the call-in show today, but go Irish, and please plant BC football into the ground tomorrow. Need it. You need it. Deborah, run the ball. I'm right there with you. It's just, let's see. Adam B. One benefit of having COVID this week, I could be here for your live show. Adam, I appreciate you being here. I just wish it wasn't a health reason that you're with us. Drink some Gatorade, rest, and let's yell about Boston College. That's my advice going through COVID. I had it bad too. Man, it caught up to me. I thought I got rid of it. It came back even worse after a few days. It was rough. It caused it. I had an eye infection from it. Like I couldn't see out of my eyes. It was scary, man. It was wild. My advice, rest and a lot of liquids. There's nothing else you could do. Rest and a lot of liquids. And don't breathe around everybody if you can manage that. Oh, Adam, I'm curious on how SEC teams would play in 20 degrees. It's interesting you say that, Adam. Follow me here. Follow me down this path. Let's say in a few years, it's the playoffs. Guess what's going to happen then? The team that gets to host a home game, if it's like Ohio State, they could have it at Ohio, 20 degrees in December, January or whatever, and then play in LSU, play a warm weather team from down there, and you make them come to the Midwest where it's 0 degrees in December or January, whatever the timing's going to be, that's a big benefit. That's a big benefit. So I get what you're saying. That's what I think of. I think of that expanded playoff format where the higher seed gets to pick where the game's at. So if I'm a northern cold weather team, I am not giving up that for a dome somewhere to make a little more ticket sales. Hell no. I'm making them warm weather teams come to us and be miserable. That's a big advantage. That is a big advantage. BC's known for beating ND. Unfortunately, you're right. Dr. John, he is present. Good to see you, Dr. John. Hope wherever you are, it's still warm enough you could golf. Man. Adam says BC has two great receivers, Flowers and Griffith emerging. Just have to stop them. Here's my question with that. My question with that is that, follow me here. They can't run the ball. And then they have this young quarterback who threw the ball for 330 yards last week, 3 touchdowns, did have 2 interceptions. Like, I'm banking on the fact they can't run the ball at all. So then what are you going to do? Put all the pressure on this guy with his arm as a young guy to come in there in 20-degree weather and fling the ball around all day in the cold? That's asking a lot for that young guy. And if they do that, you tip your cap, but they can't do that. Like, that can't be allowed. They cannot run you ran the ball for -1 yards against NC State. You're going to make this guy throw it and win. Fine. Make him do it in the cold. It's rarely 20 degrees and no breeze either coming off that stupid lake. It should be cold. Make that guy throw it. So, but -1 yards, that's on alert to me. Jaded Clay, I'm calling a defense, special teams, getting 2 touchdowns. Listen, Jaded, I can't give you credit for saying you think that the special teams is going to score. They do it every week. It's not special anymore. It's like, man, you're going to be disappointed if there's the next 2 weeks we don't get a block punt. That's how good that unit's been. 5, 6 weeks in a row. You're now at the point where you're going to be disappointed. It's amazing. Oh, man. Nick, that quarterback article's doing some numbers. That's good to see, man. I figured it might just by the title and what a big lightning rod part of the program it is, but I'm good to see it's getting a little run on the old Irish Wire there. Go over there and check it, folks. Not now. Don't leave, but after or during. Can you do multitask? Do them at the same time? I was getting to this too. Seek and ND Destroy. I like that name and that helmet. Why am I always nervous the week of the BC game? Because it's BC and you have a lot of scar tissue and you've seen them ruin some good Notre Dame seasons and be annoying their whole existence, and everything about them's annoying. The jersey scheme and helmets are annoying. A midget as their claim to fame is annoying. 93 is annoying. It's all annoying. It all is. I'm not nervous about this game. I just don't like it. I don't know what else to say. I'm not nervous. I never look forward to playing BC, so I don't know how to put it. Brandon Fry, what's up, baby? Brandon Fry, I have 2 tickets for anyone who wants to brave the cold tomorrow. Brandon, anybody who wants them, get to Brandon Fry on Twitter. Look it up. I got offered a ticket too. I have obligations after the game. Couldn't go. It's going to be a chilly one. Terry, something about that damn good defense. Don't get on me. Oop, late to the party. Irish score 50 tomorrow. 50. Love it. Dr. John, I know you don't like it, but ESPN Game Day in Bozeman, Montana tomorrow. I don't get back until Monday. John, I don't watch that program. Too many agendas. And the last thing I'm going to spend my morning doing is watching Desmond Howard talk. Not happening, not now, not ever. Sorry. Can't do it. Here we go. 937. Let's get it going. What's on your mind today?
What's up, Johnny boy? How you been?
I'm okay. I'm just trying to not get in my head over this BC game and overthink it and let the scar tissue get to me and work myself up into a tizzy. I'm trying not to do that. I think if Notre Dame runs the ball, stops the run, they win this game on Senior Day. How do you see it?
That's every game, though, isn't it?
I know. It's
we
like,
run the ball, we stop the run, we win the game.
I
But I
know.
feel that offensive line.
You're right. It does come down to that. But these matchups are very slanted tomorrow. They'll let you run it, and then they can't run it. And you're going to have that young quarterback trying to throw it to win in 20 degrees. I mean, come on. How do you see this playing out?
But here's the other problem is with this game, though, is that when wide receivers get too cold, they don't want to catch balls.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then not to mention, if we keep running the ball and they keep trying to run it, obviously we have a way better secondary than the receivers. They have one good receiver. But the way our young kids have been playing in the back, I think they're going to be good. I think it could be ugly in the beginning because of they're going to come out with emotion. But then the second half, we're just going to keep wearing them down, and the game will get grinded out.
Yeah.
You know, at this point of the season, I'm looking for wins and not beauty points at this point.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm really glad you brought that up. I mentioned that on my preview. And I said the same thing you did. We are now at the point in the season where I'm done looking for style points. I am done looking for gradual progression each week. We look better. Like, forget that. Like, that is all over. The inconsistency of the year is what it is. I just need you to scrape through 2 more games. I don't even care what they look like that much. Get 2 more wins. I'm right with you on that.
Now, I will say this. I'm the one that called and told you that we were going to go 9-3 or 10-2.
Yeah.
And I told you.
And I think you did it. I'm going to give you credit. I think you did that when we already had 3 losses, but we're right at that point. You did that pretty early. I'm going to give you credit for that. You didn't jump on it late. You did it early.
Do you want to know how I knew that they were going to win?
How's that?
Because Notre Dame's got that dog in them, dog. They got that dog in them.
Well, where was that dog? Where was that dog against Navy? Out hunting? Or did he retire? Where was that dog last week?
You can't beat down a Navy team because they don't give up. They're doing 0-0 blitzes.
Fine.
That's just Tommy Reese being silly.
How frustrated were you? How frustrated were you that we couldn't figure out how to beat the Navy blitz?
I wasn't frustrated as long as Matt Serrano came up and got that onside kick. Oh. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I said didn't throw a couple things. Yeah. But we got the W. That's the important thing, is that you can beat a grimy team. Navy's never going to give up.
Yeah.
Boston College will give up. USC's not that good. We'll go 9-3. And hell, we probably win the bowl game too, so make it 10.
I'm telling you, you know what, man? Getting to that 10, that's a big deal for a lot of people, because I believe we've had 5 consecutive years with double-digit or more wins. And this would keep that streak going, even though the 10th would be the bowl game. But given that we had 3 losses by October 15th, hell of a turnaround. That would be a really, really good job of stabilization.
Now, I think if we're able to land Mitchie, right, with the receiver core that's coming in, that's already developed. I mean, we got some monsters coming in at receiver guy.
Yep.
And then not to mention our defense will be loaded. Our offensive line comes back besides Jarrett Patterson, I think Zeke Carell. I mean, I think we're going to be we might be picking up fire next year, guys. I'm not one of these next year's going to be the year kind of guy. But I think with what we got coming in, I think we might be okay.
What do you think? Do you believe for next year Notre Dame needs to bring a transfer guy in? Or are you going to run this back with a healthier Buckner, Pine, and Jelly, and then throw Minchie in there and then Carr the next year? Do you think they need an experienced transfer guy with an arm that you know what you're going to get out of going into next year? How would you play that dynamic?
I would see what's out there.
Yeah.
Just to see.
Throw out some feelers behind the scenes, kind of see what's up.
I don't mind Pine, but the biggest problem with Pine is the fact that he's so short. I mean, how many balls have been batted down? And he can't help that.
Yeah.
When he balls out, but he's just so short. And that's something that's the same thing with Ian Book. That's something you can't fix. You know, the thing with Steve Angeli is you never really gave him a shot. And Buckner, I don't know the play calling Tommy Reese was trying to do. I'm telling you, I think it got back to him that I think he was taking the points and the spread.
Yeah, I don't.
He started calling a better game for him.
Tell me if you agree with this. I felt like early in the year, Reese was running an offense he wanted to run rather than the one we were capable of running. And that's what caused some issues. It was just something that he wanted to run that we weren't ready to run and didn't have the personnel and couldn't run. I don't feel like it was built to help Buckner right away.
Yes. And I feel that if we have Buckner in now behind this running attack, it'll be a different breed, because then you'll have to respect Buckner also as a runner.
Yeah.
You'll have 3 stud running backs and then a quarterback that can sling it. You see how often when we played Clemson, I'll bring Clemson up, and how you can bring in Navy, run the ball, boom, right there's a slant, or they're blitzing and they leak Estime out the backfield.
Yep.
Like it's a beautiful situation. The only difference is that even though Pine's athletic, he's not as fast as Buckner. But even now, since I thought about it, I'll probably venture into the transfer portal, because how healthy is Buckner?
Yeah.
He's not that healthy. He gets hurt all the time, and I love the kid, and it's unfortunate, but I would like to see what's out there, because like I think you said before, if we had the kid from UNC, wow. It would be a scary situation.
It just shows you what's possible. And here's the thing about Drake May at UNC that I always point out. What's different to me about Drake May at North Carolina is he's at North Carolina. That's not a guy that chose Oregon Nike money or like Texas A&M oil money. Like, that's different to me, because that's a guy that he's playing in North Carolina, not one of these factories with the behind the scenes money and all that. Like, that's the kind of guy that's like Notre Dame, more in Notre Dame's ballpark. He ends up in North Carolina, like, and he's shredding, and he's young, and he's big, and he's physical, make all the throws, got years to develop. That's Notre Dame's path. Who's the guy? Who's the guy you could just anchor everything to and then grow with through the beginning of the Freeman era? Who is it? Is it Minchie? Do you got to wait for Carr? Is it the second year of Carr? Like, how many more years down the road do we got to kick this?
I would look at Minchie, just because he has a great arm and he's very athletic with the receivers that we have coming in and the running backs that we have. So we'll still have Logan Diggs and we'll still have Estime. I mean, I like it. We'll still have some receivers. We'll still have Colsey. We'll still have Merriweather as well. So we're going to have a big group of receivers like next year.
Yep.
So I think that we can probably throw all over the yard. And if you have the line to protect them, again. But there's one thing I want to say. We need to keep Al Golden in the building at all costs, because every time we play against one of these really good quarterbacks, DJ Uiagalelei, who's the kid from Ohio State, CJ Stroud, and even Mays, he makes them look freshman-esque. He makes them look silly. Yeah, CJ Stroud makes some clutch throws at the very end of it, but he didn't torch us by like 90 like he does with everybody else. He made DJ look silly. He made Mays look silly, and I think he'll make Caleb Williams look silly too. We need to keep that defensive coordinator in the house, bud.
Well, where's he going to go? Like, think about it. I don't think Al Golden's looking for a head job. I think he's kind of done with that. And then, yeah, I mean, I have my complaints with the defense here and there. I have my complaints with the defense here and there, but 95% of my worries are at the offensive side of the ball.
Well, I think all the athleticism is starting to catch up with the mental. The one thing about Bertrand and Kaiser is that they have the mental game. They're just not that athletic. But you saw like Prince Colley, and you saw like Junior, and, you know, some other of the young linebackers there are the thumpers. now that they're playing in these games, their mental is starting to get there finally. And once their mental gets there with their athleticism, we're talking about a bunch of Manti Te'os as opposed to just one.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And I think earlier in the year, you did see them guys thinking instead of reacting. Like there was a hitch, you could see the wheels kind of turning. And they're starting to play a little more instinctual flying around. I do like that.
So, but a lot of those linebackers also played versus Navy. I mean, and you're putting them at basically get a baptism by fire with one of the weirdest offenses that they've probably never seen before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're young kids. We won the game, move forward to Boston College, take care of business, beat USC, and still make sure that you got that dog in you.
There you go. I like that, man. But thanks a lot for the call. Really good insights. I'll be live again tomorrow. Call me if you got some early game day anxiety. All right. Good call. Thank you.
I'll be at work, but I'll be thinking of it.
Beautiful. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Uh-oh. We're big time now. We got the porn bots in here. I'm going to have to block those real quick. Block those in case any of the kids are watching. Oh, Nick Shepkowski, he chose it because he's a UNC lifer, family connection, stayed home. Also, you don't have to take any of your own tests if you're an athlete. So I'm sure that helps. Yeah. Hey, man, it's easy. I always tell the story. When I was in college, I had a boss. Her daughter was her son was a monster, recruited by a top Big Ten team, got to campus. And the head coach said, we got it all figured out. You don't have to go to class. Pick one of these majors, and then we create the path for you. And you do a couple things to make it look like you're involved. You show up if you graduate, or if you're in the NFL, don't worry about it. Like that was literally how it was 15, 17 years ago when I was in college. They literally just told them, the top Big Ten team, you can guess which one it was back then. And they literally said, pick a major. We got it all figured out. Your job is to study this playbook, son. Unbelievable. A lot of people like my Tony Roberts snowball call. And a lot of people remember it word for word because they're saying I nailed it. I ain't playing around when I'm telling you I got that Tony Roberts call down. People want me to do it again. 737, you're on the air.
Sean, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well, my friend. I'm a little frustrated, short on time today. Got a bunch of real life stuff to do, but other than that, I'm good. What's on your mind, man? Do you have any BC scar tissue anxiety? Do you feel good about this? Any concerns of the weather? Where are you at?
I'm a true Notre Dame fan, so I'm always concerned about everything.
Isn't that the truth, man? Isn't that the baseline truth? We've just been through a lot, man. You're spot on that. Good call.
Yeah, it's just the way it is, man. You have to accept it. I love the video you did yesterday, and I was laughing because I love the just the out in the open hatred you have for BC. I have the same hatred.
There's no redeeming qualities. There's nothing. Nothing.
I was a junior in high school for the '93 game, and like I said, there's two really emotional Notre Dame times that I can recall. One was Notre Dame versus Colorado, Rocket running that kickoff return back for a touchdown that got called back. That was
the Phantom clip.
Devastating as a child.
Yep. It's devastating as an adult.
Yeah. That stuck with me. And then '93 in terms of Boston College.
Yep.
But I will say, hey, for everybody that's chiming in, I'm in Texas, in Austin, and it's cold here too. So I think it's just kind of cold everywhere.
Yeah. Let me bring one up to you. Let me bring one up to you. For people my age, it's much less intense. But I believe 2002. Willingham had that team at 8-0. It was the year where we won all the early games with like turnovers and pick sixes and punt returns. Like we had no offense, but we managed to score every other way. Made it to 8-0. Host them at our place. We pull out the green jerseys, fumbled like 7 times, and everybody was blaming the material on the green jersey saying that's why we fumbled. That's what I remember. 2002. We fumbled like 7 times at home in those green jerseys and lost. And everybody was blaming the jerseys. Like, I just don't like the whole BC thing. It's nothing but problems.
I still, like I said, this like you said, the scar tissue, I still don't like the green jerseys. For that reason. Like every time we pull out the green jerseys, I'm like skeptical. I'd rather have like the New Jersey, like the ones we had this year for in Vegas. What were they called? Like I can't remember what they called. Gold.
You know what, man?
Or
those were slick. And the reason why is you can't really mess up white with gold trim. Like that's why I liked them. They were sleek, they were classy, not too much, but just enough. I didn't mind those. Like you can't mess up white with gold trim. It's classy as can be. Looks like a Pope's outfit. You can't go wrong. I like it.
No, they were nice, man. They were super nice. I know you got a short call today, but the reason I called in today is we were talking just the other day about quarterback and Minchie and a few other things, and I was watching some tape, and I went back and I wanted to watch the Elite 11 stuff that was talked about, and I tell you what, the more I see, the more I watch, the better I feel about that kid, and I believe that if he had played the whole season this year, that he would have gone from a 4-star to a 5-star. You know, he didn't win the whole Elite 11, but the part that he did win, the day that he did win was the pro day that was based on accuracy. He was number 1 with the highest score in there. And I think there was a bunch of people obviously that are 5 stars that were tied for, 4th and all that stuff. One of them being Dante Moore. So I think Minchie is a great recruit. I hope he does well. Like I said, concerns about injuries and stuff like that. But the more that I look at him, just the better he looks. And that kid's got some touch on the ball. So hopefully he's there this weekend, which I think he is.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that is a big deal to me when you're talking about Minchie. I look at this a little uniquely because of the timing and the crunch Notre Dame's in on the 23, trying to get a guy and have it be an actual guy, not just a body to say you filled the need in that room. The timing on that it's important that we have signing day come early signing day, and we stayed on these quarterbacks and are going to, and maybe probably knock on wood, end up with one with some really good upside. It's a good save job. It really is a good save job. It's about as good as you can ask for after thinking Dante Moore was a silent and then everything changed. This is a good save job, and I'm not losing sight of that. This was crunch time, and it looks like they're going to come through, and they deserve credit for that.
No, absolutely. Whether it was him, the more that I read, there was contact, and then he was reaching out, and we were reaching out. So all in all, I think just a good job. But the more I see of him, the happier I get, and the more positivity I see in terms of him coming in, what he's able to do. Obviously, Carr coming in after that. They're very similar in terms of their style. They both have amazing accuracy. I'm excited. The reason I wanted to watch the Elite 11 information or videos was because, highlight tape is exactly that. You always see the good, never the bad.
Yep.
But you watch that Elite 11, you see some of the throws that he makes versus the competition that's there. I think the part about the Elite 11 that I like is that they put the pressure on you to see how you respond in some of those situations. And again, for him to beat out everybody, the top 20 in the country, in terms of accuracy, that says a lot, man. That says a lot. So I'm excited for what that kid brings. I had a question for you. Everybody talks about, obviously, Buckner and Pine, and we talk about Angeli and all this stuff. There's Powell in the quarterback room. Was he brought in your opinion, because of the name, because of his dad was a quarterback, and he just is going to serve no purpose? Like, why is he there?
Yes, that's the reason. That's the reason. That's the reason. That's the reason. That's the reason, man. I just think that's the reason. Otherwise, you would hear him spoken about differently, right?
You don't even hear him mentioned.
No,
Like,
I know.
not
Like,
even
I know.
in
That's
the talks.
I know, and that's what makes me think it's Ronnie Paulus, the 5th or the 8th or whatever. Like, fine. I that's what I think it was. And it's like, I don't know. Is it the same with Bon Jovi's kid because they wanted Bon Jovi there? I don't know. Like I think that's what it was. And the other thing people need to realize, man, is people have said to me, John, if you want a transfer in 23, that quarterback room's going to get crowded. What are we going to do? Some people are going to stay. Some are going to leave. Welcome to the big leagues. Like, that's how it goes. You have heavy duty competition, and then some guys are going to leave to try and go play somewhere else. That's what a healthy quarterback room's like. And then the top 2 to 3 talents stick around. Other guys can leave. I'm not trying to be rude. I want everybody to get a Notre Dame degree here, but that's just not how this works when you're trying to figure this out.
You look at our past recruiting, and I kind of been looking at it. But years ago, a few years back, we had quarterbacks that lost their spots for whatever, and they transferred out. But if you look at it, those that transferred out, man, I want to say Golson or Winbush, and then obviously Zaire as well, where they transferred out. But you can look at Jerkovic over here for Boston College. The kids that we're letting transfer out, obviously, they're not going and making hay at a ton of places where they're going. I mean, none of them have really worked out that have had like a illustrious career by any way.
Yeah. So then what does that tell you? Then that kind of tells me if multiple schools couldn't develop the guy, then maybe you didn't do a good job analyzing them when you recruited them to begin with, right? How else can I interpret that?
Yeah, no, that's the concern is what are we bringing in? What is our evaluation process? Because again, they're not doing it here,
right?
But then they're not doing it anywhere else either. Like if they go somewhere else and they just kill it.
So then that tells you your evaluation process needs to be renovated. And then I look at this and I say, Minchie Carr is a way, 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 way higher ceiling of potential than any of the other guys we talked about. And then that kind of tells me maybe you're on the right path because these guys are going to come in at a higher level to develop to be good, closer to that line than a bunch of the other guys. So I think you might be trending in the right direction on that. But the next big task is we need Tommy Rees to show development in these young guys. Linear development, getting better and better and better. That's the next thing I got to see, or he's got to go bye-bye. Recruiting's one part, development and retention are the other two, and I need all three to be good.
Yeah, it almost looks like we did it to ourselves through the development. And I don't think you could put it on Reese, but it looked like, and a lot of stuff that like I said, and I prefaced this before with you, I obviously have a Notre Dame problem, and I try to read and learn and figure things out. I love data. I just like looking at data and trying to determine or give my thoughts straight in terms of the data that's out there. It looks to me like we really kind of screwed ourselves years ago when we had the Clausen, the Gunnar Kiel, the Dane Chris. Like we had 5-star quarterbacks that came in. They didn't get really developed. They never showed. I mean, Clausen had an okay career at Notre Dame, but none of them transferred over into, we'll say, prolific NFL careers. And I think because of that, we lost a lot of that 5-star kind of stuff. And you didn't see any development of quarterbacks in Kelly. Yeah. So now I think, hey, Freeman's here. It's a little bit new blood. We're going to start getting some of these kids.
You got to break that cycle. You got to break that quarterback cycle of not good enough, quite frankly. Is you got to break that cycle, and they're going to have the talent in the building to do it. And that's exciting. So, all right, man, I got to get headed out here. Give me a score prediction. What happens tomorrow?
Oh, man, I think we win. I think it's closer than everybody thinks. I'm so surprised at how many people are thinking about that we're covering the spread when we haven't done it this year. But I know. Maybe this is the game where everybody says it's not going to happen.
And then we do it.
Happens, because that's what Notre Dame does. When everybody thinks it's not going to happen,
exactly,
is when it happens. So I think we win. We'll see how that goes. But I will say this. I was really, really surprised. I saw a thing this morning. and I don't know if everybody knows this. It's probably put the article that's out there. Notre Dame has the second largest fan base in the United States, second to only Ohio State.
I was going to guess. Yeah, I was going to guess Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State was like 11 million. We were like 8.2 million. There is no team I hate more than Ohio State. Yeah. Ohio State is my Dallas Cowboys, and anybody that plays Ohio State, I root for. There's a few teams I hate, Boston College being one of them, but Ohio State more than anything. And I'm like, how are so many people fans of Ohio State? I think they're just all front runners, man. But
yeah,
John, again, appreciate the time. I hope everything goes well for you today. I know you got some commitments to do, but we'll hope for a big win. We'll say go Irish, and then we'll talk again next week.
Beautiful, man. Thanks. Keep these calls coming. They're very well thought out. And keep bringing me data. That's one thing that I need more of and somebody to look at. Keep bringing me some data. I like that. Thanks, man.
I appreciate you, John.
Have a good one. Thank you very much. All right, folks. John's got to go. Real life calling my name. I hate to cut it short. I got to be somewhere at 10. It's quarter till. I feel bad about it, but I wanted to go live anyways. Tomorrow morning, folks, we're doing it again. So I'm going to be here in the morning. That could be a longer show. People want to call in, whatever. So we're going to do it again tomorrow. I'm sorry I got to cut it short. Real life's calling, folks. We'll be back in the morning. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Have a good one.